In February of 1999, video game publisher Jaleco released an unusually titled video game for the PlayStation 1. It was called
Irritating Stick!
And the game baffled those who played it, not for its puzzles or difficulty, but for the sheer bizarreness of its title and play structure. The game was reviewed harshly by critics at the time and became a joke in the video gaming community in the subsequent years. But few knew this strange game was based on a segment from a popular Japanese variety show airing in the mid-90s. How did a game with this title get released in the West, and what was this mysterious program on which this game was based? このテレビ番組は、うちゃんなんちゃんの炎のチャレンジャーこれができたら100万円でした。いきますよ。Premiering on the TV Asahi network in October of 1995, Uchan Nanchan's Challenger of Fire, 1 million yen if you can do it, featured Manzai comedy duo Teruyoshi Uchimura and Kiyotaka Nanbara, known by their stage name Uchan Nanchan, hosting a bevy of unusually themed and designed games, some based on sport, leisure, Japanese life, intellect, and a variety of other topics. These challenges were designed to be extremely difficult, but not impossible. The prize for a contestant should they best a challenge? 1 million yen. Hence the subtitle, 1 million yen if you can do it. Each episode opened with a brief overview of what would be seen in that week's program. The dramatic tension was accentuated with Akira Ifukube's Gojira no Timu, or Theme from Godzilla, blazing over the video. That's the most I can play without getting the video taken down for copyright reasons. Then we would get our intro before seeing a shot of the challenge stadium. Our host Uchan Nanchan would give a brief intro before segueing into the first challenge. After this, a narrator would give the title of a challenge before going into a brief rundown of the game's rules. Katsuji Mori would usually narrate the lighter challenges, while Ryo Izuno would narrate the more dramatic challenges. Then a graph would be shown indicating the skills that were most needed in order to win a particular challenge. Take this challenge. If you cry in under 7 seconds, you get 1 million yen. The object is simple. A contestant sits in a chair and is given 7 seconds to shed a tear. They're allowed to bring whatever object they need in order to evoke an emotional response, but they aren't allowed to cause physical harm to themselves.
11月に彼女と別れてしまったんですけど、楽しい思い出のたくさんある手紙と、あと2年前に交換した指輪を持ってきました。
By the way, that was actually one of the more upbeat ways someone was able to make themselves cry. There's other more darker ways shown in the show, but I want to keep this video somewhat light. A difficult task to be sure, but it can be done, as shown by this 51-year-old housewife who managed to cry by thinking of her disabled mother. At first, it seemed like her attempt had failed, but upon further review of the video, it was revealed that she had in fact shed a tear just before 7 seconds had elapsed. This single tear earned her 1 million yen, or roughly $9,000 at the time of taping. After the contest, the winner would usually come back to the studio and be interviewed by Uchan Nanchan before being awarded their prize. If a challenge wasn't won, Uchan Nanchan and that week's guest would usually discuss the event that was just shown whilst cracking some jokes. Hey, that guy with the teeth kinda looks familiar. That's because he's actor-comedian Shingo Yanagasawa. You may remember him as the original Battlefield reporter on Takeshi's Castle. But I digress. After this witty banter took place, the show would then usually move on to the next event. Each typical episode had an average of 5 challenges. Some of the more popular challenge genres included the rotating tornado, where a contestant had to stand on a platform whilst avoiding a spinning machine's bars for 30 seconds. If a contestant was hit by a bar or stepped off the platform, they lost the challenge. Another challenge genre was Beat the Monkey. Don't worry, it's not as dirty as it sounds. Where a contestant had to defeat a Japanese snow monkey at some sort of task. Like this challenge, where a contestant had to catch 10 plates thrown by the monkey. Catch all 10 plates and win 1 million yen, but if even one plate hits the ground, no money for you. Music challenges featured contestants trying to replicate a song exactly. In this one, the contestant chooses a karaoke song at random, and then has to sing it exactly as written, without any on-screen guide, without missing a beat, or going off-key. The machine has over 10,000 songs in it, making it difficult for even someone who frequents the karaoke night. This woman originally didn't want to come, but her friend dragged her along. Good thing her friend convinced her, because she was able to sing Love, Love, Love by Dreams Come True to perfection, making her dream come true and earning her 1 million yen. Some challenges were sports related, like this one. Hit a home run. A pitcher and batter team have one chance to hit an out-of-the-park home run. Success equals 1 million yen. Baseball fans will know this is easier said than done. And then, of course, some challenges existed solely to objectify young women. I'll let the footage speak for itself. There were also endurance challenges, where contestants had to survive for a set period of time. In this challenge, 12 competitors hid from a search and rescue team in the middle of a forest. If they could survive without being found for 12 hours, they would win 1 million yen. But many of the endurance challenges were more mental than they were physical. This series of challenges was known as the 100 Question Challenge. 100 competitors were brought in and asked a series of 100 questions, usually relating to a topic. If a contestant answered correctly, then they moved on to the next question. If they answered incorrectly or didn't answer before 10 seconds was up, they were eliminated. This particular instance required contestants to correctly write and recognize over 100 unique kanji. In case you're wondering, there are over 50,000 different kanji in the Japanese language, but the average Japanese person probably only knows about 2,200. And this test is strict. This little extra line was enough to remove this contestant from the running. The last surviving contestant in this episode only managed to make it to kanji number 81. Sometimes contestants literally had to grasp the 1 million yen, like in this downhill challenge, where a contestant had to ski or snowboard down a slope and grab 1 million yen before it hit the bottom or wiping out. There were also eating challenges. This one required contestants to gain 11 pounds or 5 kilograms in under 2 hours. Easier said than done. This challenge required contestants to eat 20 unique plates of food being brought before them on a conveyor belt. Contestants can't start on the next dish until they have eaten the previous dish. If any dish passes through the goal line or a contestant spits up any of the food, they're disqualified. But manage to eat all 20 plates and 1 million yen is yours. I guess now is as good a time as any to remind you folks watching, do not try these stunts at home. One kid chokes and I gotta do a disclaimer every time. Speaking of kids, sometimes challenges were designed for young kids. Like this one, where a child of 4 or younger has to buy 3 specific items for their parent in under 10 minutes. This other challenge, one of the more popular ones, featured infants younger than 12 months crawling across a course to their mother. Along the way, there are a number of items intended to distract or confuse the children. These included mirrors, televisions playing anime Crayon Shin-chan, toys, gates, and even additional women. If a baby successfully reaches their mother in under 90 seconds, the family wins 1 million yen. Baby crawling to mother was one of the most popular challenges on the program, but the most remembered and most often played was Dengeki Ira Bao, which literally translates to Electrical Current Irritating Stick. Hence the title of the PlayStation 1 game. This game featured a long course of wires. Contestants had to guide their bar through the course with a steady hand in under a set limit of time. If a contestant makes it through the course, they win the 1 million yen. But if they run out of time or touch the sides, this happens. Contrary to what's been written on a couple English websites, contestants who touched the sides were never given an electrical shock. The show never did anything that cruel. Nope, what merely happened is a minor explosion went off a few inches away from the contestant's fingers. Wait a minute. This popular game became the show's staple. The original course was a simple one, but with each victory, the course was expanded to include more difficult obstacles, including things like pistons, slot machines, windmills, conveyor belts, and various other things designed to distract the contestant. After each playing of the game, that week's celebrity guests would attempt the event themselves in hopes of winning the 1 million yen. Of course, the stakes were much lower for them, so they would often fail early in the course. The segment's popularity also led to a lot of merchandise, like this little pocket game I showed you earlier. Simply guide the wire through the maze without touching the side. Not very impressive. Larger versions were also sold in toy stores. I don't have any of those, but I'm sure I'll get some someday. Naturally, this led to video game versions. In December of 1997, Hudson Soft released Uchan Nanchan no Hono no Challenger Dengeki Ira Bar, or Uchan Nanchan's Challenger of Fire Electrical Irritating Stick for the Nintendo 64. It followed the game's format exactly, minus the 1 million yen prize, of course. The following year, Jaleco released Uchan Nanchan no Hono no Challenger Dengeki Ira Bar Returns, or Uchan Nanchan's Challenger of Fire Electrical Current Irritating Stick Returns for the PlayStation 1. This version featured courses that could be completed using the PlayStation analog stick or mouse attachment. This game would be brought to the Western world later the next year. Of course, we Western folks in the 1990s had no reference for this game or the show on which it was based, so the titular Uchan Nanchan's Challenger of Fire was dropped and the game was simply left as the poorly translated Irritating Stick. The original Japanese version of the game featured Eiji Okuma providing running commentary for the game. When the game was brought to the West, his voice was replaced with this voice, constantly saying,
Watch out! You're too close to the edge!
And thus became the long-running internet meme we know today. In 1996, SNK released a stand-up arcade cabinet version of the game. This version used a trackball and actually shot a blast of air at the player when they lost. Some cabinets even managed to make their way to the US under the title The Irritating Maze. If you ever see one of these cabinets, pop a quarter in and give it a play. The actual irritation is up for debate. Was it the bar? Was it the game? Was it the announcer? Was it the pressure? Ultimately, it doesn't matter, as the game and its show proved to be a huge boon for TV Asahi in the late 1990s. Many came, but few managed to win the titular 1 million yen offered. Challenger of Fire ended its run in March of 2000. The show remained in the minds of Japanese, but never had much exposure in the Western world. Except in Germany, where shortened episodes of the program were aired on the country's DSF channel, with running commentary from Lenz Retzner. This aired in the early 2000s.
10 Meter lang und ihr seht, die Kandidaten, sie haben die Augen verbunden und sie müssen in 30 Sekunden...
The German version was actually retitled Sports Baka. I don't think baka means anything in German, but in Japanese the word means stupid or idiot. So the show is called Sports Idiot. Huh. Oh well. The show also aired on Hawaiian stations in the mid-2000s with English subtitles. The series can be hard to find online, but if you can find some of these episodes, do yourself a favor and give it a watch. And there you have Challenger of Fire. Next time someone asks if you'd like to play Irritating Stick with them, you can let them know that you'd love to. Unless, of course, they're talking about something other than a PlayStation game. But regardless, thank you for watching my video on Challenger of Fire. If you like what you see, consider liking and subscribing. I've got a lot more Japanese game show videos planned, so keep your eyes peeled. Special thanks to all the people who helped me cull footage from the Irritating Stick games and for the various Challenger of Fire videos I've used. I'll link their videos in the description below. Remember, Challenger of Fire, or Uchanansha no Hono no Challenger Kori ga Dekitura Hyakumayan, is the sole property of the TV Asahi Broadcasting Corporation. No challenge of ownership is intended. Thank you for watching, and remember, it's hard to see the end when you're beginning.
Congratulations! A great performance! You should really be proud of yourself!